What is a right? I have the right to this. I have the right to that. I have the right to all these other things. Who determines whether or not you actually have that right? Um, what freedoms are associated with rights? What responsibilities are associated with rights? Um, and throw out an idea here. It's not mine. I've heard it many times over from different people. Most notably and influential in my sphere have been Larkin Rose and Mark Passio. The idea is you have a right to do anything that doesn't hurt the rights of other people. Sounds kind of circular. Um, but the basic fundamental right that I think that everybody has is the right to defend oneself from violence. Um, and I start imposing on other people when I start committing violence upon them, hurting them, harming them against their will. Um, that seems to me to be an obvious violation of rights, is reaching out and hurting people. I think most people on this planet can get behind that. Hey, that's not um, my right to do, to go and hurt someone else. Not my right. Which means that I have the right to not be hurt by other people against my will. That would be a pretty fundamental and basic starting point for what is a right. Um, do I have a right to a roof over my head? Well, um, I have the right to try to put a roof over my head, providing it doesn't hurt anyone else. Um, I can't go out and find a day laborer and say, hey, put a roof over my head or I'll shoot you. I don't have that right. I can't do that. That would be a total violation of this guy's rights to do his own thing and not have someone point a gun at him and threaten violence upon him. So I don't have a right to make someone else put a roof over my head. That right doesn't exist. But I have a right to try to put a roof over my head. I arguably have a right to find a lumber, lumber necessary to put a roof over my head, sheeting necessary, roofing materials. I have the right to try to procure those for myself in some way, assuming I'm not harming someone else. At a very basic level, I have a right to try to put a roof over my head. I have a right to find food and put food in my mouth, providing it isn't hurting anyone else. I don't have the right to expect other people to do that for me, under penalty of bad consequences for them. I don't think that's a right. What are the things that you would find legitimize you pointing a gun at someone and say, do this for me? I'm willing to bet that that list is pretty small. And if that list is small, we got another problem. Because society's list, where they say, hey, you have to perform these things for us or we'll hurt you, is pretty dang large. I mean, you shall pay your property tax so that we can do X, Y, and Z, or else we will send you a nasty letter, get you kicked off your land, take it away from you, sell it out from under you. You shall pay us or else. That's a big part of our paradigm. And renters have the same thing. It's just laundered through the rent system. It's hidden to the renter. They don't see the part of their rent that is property taxes, but it's in there, and the property owner shall pay it, or else they will lose your housing. They'll lose that, and they won't be able to maintain and control it in any way anymore. And you'll be out on the street or have another landlord there who will extract taxes from you and pay them to the government. Um, that's just kind of how that works. So that doesn't sound very voluntary to me. It sounds like there are dire consequences for not giving money to the government. Um, does the government have a right to do that? Well, if I don't have the right to do it, and you don't have the right to do it, and that guy over there doesn't have the right to do it, if the three of us get together, do we suddenly have the right to do it to someone else over there? I don't think we do. So our entire government system in every country has this coercive element in it, and this threat of violence baked in at the most basic foundation level of what the government is doing. Is, hey, we need money, and so we're going to get it from everybody. You all pay your fair share, and we won't hurt you. You fail to pay your fair share, and yeah, we'll hurt you. It's fundamentally violent, and I don't know what we do about that. People say, hey, we need the money for this, that, and the other thing. Well, do you? I mean, are the things that you want so important that what you want to do is you want to take a gun, or at least a guy with a gun on his hip, and say, hey, you need to go over to that guy over there and get money from him. All right, that's your job. I'm going to pay you to get money from that guy. Go do it, and then I'll pay you to do it again tomorrow. And the guy's going to say, yeah, I'll do that for money. He goes and he shakes someone down for money, brings back the money, and that's how we have taxes. It's kind of silly when you think about it like that, but it is our system. It's a threat-based system. Do this or we'll hurt you. Doesn't sound nonviolent. Doesn't sound voluntary. It sounds coercive, and it sounds like extortion and shakedowns. It's mobster stuff. It's sure would be a shame if this window were broken. It's what the government says to you on a daily basis is what we see in gangster movies. It's just laundered through long words with Latin and Greek roots, but it's still pay up or we'll break your kneecaps. It's still that paradigm. So what is your right? What is a right? What is a right? Does government have the right to do that to you for the greater good? And what goods are so great that, well, maybe they do have the right to do that to you. Maybe the voluntary pass around the hat to fund the military doesn't keep our shores safe. Maybe that is a thing. Maybe that's true for hey, we need a police force, we need a fire service, we need these things because we just all agree we need them, and we're going to threaten you with violence if you don't pay your fair share. Maybe we have some of those things, but surely all the stuff the government's doing, you think all of them rise to that level of, hey, we're going to hurt you if you don't pay into Section 8 housing. Hey, we're going to hurt you if you don't pay into slurrying the roads. Hey, are we going to threaten to hurt you if you don't support the new ball field? Are we going to threaten to hurt someone who doesn't want new updated traffic lights? Are we going to threaten to hurt someone who you get the idea? Like we've got these things and people think are generally public good, but we use our violence card. We say, hey, bang, we'll threaten you with violence if you don't pay. We use that for all kinds of stuff that I think any thinking, feeling, moral human being would not suggest as a paradigm for how to pay for this stuff. I think that when we say a little kid wants to make some money, we might help them with a lemonade stand or a cookie bake or something, right? We do fundraising, voluntary interactions with people to raise our money. That's how we teach it with kids. But then when we get to grown-up land, we lean heavily on the force and extortion fundraising methods rather than the um, uh, the salesman arts. We don't sell people stuff. We shove it down their throats, and take their money, while their faces are down in the pavement. We pick their pocket and say, "Thank you for paying your taxes." Um, if we want good things, maybe we should make the argument for these good things and fundraise voluntarily to get the good things that we want, rather than um, using this tool of government that is quite uh, heavy-handed.